You ever go to check the price of memory and suddenly feel like you slipped into an alternate universe? Like, yesterday this kit was $90 and today it costs as much as your entire motherboard. Yeah, that is not you misremembering. That is not a website glitch. That is exactly what is happening right now. Memory prices are not creeping up. They are launching straight into orbit. Some kits have doubled, others have tripled. And if you try refreshing the page, hoping the numbers will magically fix themselves, they will not. I have tried. It does not help. So what is going on? Why is your RAM acting like it is trying to become the next crypto coin? And most importantly, is there anything you can actually do about it? That is what we are breaking down today. Let's get into it. By now, you have probably seen at least one screenshot showing absurd price spikes. We are talking increases of 160%, 180%, and even more in some cases. And this is not over a year, not over 6 months. In many cases, it is happening in 30 to 60 days. A 32 gigabyte kit that was $120 in September might now be $270 or more. Higher capacity kits? We have seen jumps of $400 to $500 depending on brand and speed. There was even a 13-day stretch where prices rose by almost 1% every single day. And these increases are not isolated to a few bad listings. They are industry-wide. This is not retailer manipulation. It is not sellers gouging customers. It is happening because the memory industry itself is moving into a new, very unstable phase. And unfortunately, consumers are the ones getting crushed by it. There is no single cause. This is a perfect storm of multiple issues happening at once. 1. Endless demand from data centers. Artificial intelligence companies are buying memory like they are preparing for a global memory apocalypse. And when companies like OpenAI announce partnerships with Samsung and SK Hynix, targeting 900,000 wafer starts per month, that translates to roughly 40% of the global DRAM supply being consumed by a handful of giant players. 2. Manufacturers purposely reduced supply. In the years after the pandemic, demand crashed. Memory makers cut production to stop prices from falling too low. Now demand has surged again, but supply is still tight. 3. Manufacturers are diverting supply. Instead of making traditional desktop RAM, companies are pouring resources into high-margin products like HBM for data center GPUs and server-grade ECC memory. Those bring in more money than consumer sticks, so guess which one gets priority? 4. End of life for older technology. DDR4 is being wound down. That means lower output and reduced inventory, but demand still exists because millions of systems still use DDR4. Result, DDR4 is hit even worse than DDR5. 5. Hoarding. TrendForce reported severe hoarding across the industry as buyers rush to secure stock before prices climb further. This pushes prices even higher and faster. Put this all together, and you get what we are seeing now. An industry exiting its historical pricing cycle and entering unexplored territory. Let's look at DDR5 first. Across the most popular 2 by 16 gigabyte kits at 6,000 megatransfers per second, nearly every major brand has doubled in price since September. For example, one G-Skill kit went from $125 to $270. Kingston Fury Beast went from $137 to about $267. A Team Group kit jumped from $93 to $250. That is a 169% increase in barely a month. Even higher-end kits like 7,200 megatransfer per second options show the same pattern. Speed does not matter. Brand does not matter. Everything is going up in lockstep. And that is the key point. If every brand moves together, it is almost never because retailers are manipulating prices. It is upstream. It is the suppliers. DDR4 is in an even more brutal situation because DDR4 production has been shrinking for years, and because enterprise systems still use a lot of DDR4 for legacy servers, the price pressure is worse than DDR5. Corsair, Kingston, G-Skill, and Team Group have all seen price jumps of 100 to 180% since summer. In plain English, DDR4 is becoming scarce, but demand is not going away. That is how you get disaster pricing. If you look at the spot market, which tracks real-time trading of memory chips, the numbers confirm it all. DDR4 spot prices jumped by up to 22% in a single week. DDR5 spot prices surged by 30% during the same period. This is not normal. These are the highest spot prices in roughly 20 years relative to the stage of each memory generation. Even historical price spikes, like after the Taiwan earthquake or the South Korean power failures, did not reach this kind of percentage increase this fast. This is a unique moment in the market. The biggest shift in this whole story is the artificial intelligence boom. AI servers need enormous amounts of memory, far more than consumer PCs. A single high-end data center, GPU, can require dozens of gigabytes of high bandwidth memory. Multiply that by hundreds of thousands of units sold to companies like Meta, OpenAI, Microsoft, Amazon, and all the others building AI clusters, and you get a complete takeover of the supply chain. What used to be a predictable 4-year cycle in memory prices has now become an extended upward cycle with no defined end. Cloud service providers and AI companies are now competing with consumer hardware companies for the exact same wafer supply. If you think this is limited to RAM, think again. NAND flash, the memory used in SSDs, is also beginning to spike. Recent examples, a 1 terabyte triple-level cell NAND module went from $4.80 in July to $10.70 in November. Western Digital and Samsung have both raised contract pricing by as much as 50%. This means SSDs, cache modules, console storage, and even smartphone storage will likely become more expensive going into next year. This is the part most people do not realize: that these trends never stay isolated. Memory is interconnected across the whole tech industry. Video cards use memory too, sometimes a lot of it. If DRAM pricing continues upward, GPU pricing and availability will follow. In fact, rumors of delayed NVIDIA super graphics cards may be tied directly to this. NVIDIA can choose to put its limited memory supply into high-margin data center GPUs instead. And the math is simple. A server GPU can sell for $20,000. A gaming GPU sells for $800 to $1,200. One of those products is worth starving the other. So, what do you do? Honest answer? There is nothing consumers can do to meaningfully influence memory pricing. This is not a market driven by consumer demand. It is driven by trillion-dollar AI spending, server farms, and global supply constraints. But you can make smarter buying decisions. Here is what you should consider. 1. Waiting will probably not help. TrendForce, Digit Times, and multiple industry insiders all project elevated pricing throughout 2026 at minimum. 2. Buying used memory is a viable option. RAM is one of the safest components to buy second-hand. As long as it passes a memory test, it is good. 3. Do not expect major Black Friday savings. You might get a small discount, but it will not erase the massive increases of the last 2 months. 4. If you are planning a build, buy sooner rather than later. prices may continue to rise, especially for high-density kits. 5. Consider lower capacity temporarily. 16 gigabytes is not ideal in 2025, but rising prices may force compromises. The memory market is entering a new era. Artificial intelligence demand, reduced supply, and high-margin prioritization are reshaping the entire landscape. For consumers, it means higher prices with no real relief in sight. For manufacturers, it means record profits. And for the rest of us, it means making tough decisions about when and how to upgrade. So what do you think? Are these prices outrageous? Should the industry be more transparent about supply manipulation? Or do you think this AI boom is simply the new normal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.